Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.
Welcome to Mobile Beat Las Vegas with me, your host, Rob Ferre, on Stepping Up Your Game. Today, we are going to bring in some people, some folks who are here at Mobile Beat. If you're not here, I'm sorry, but I'm going to bring them to you today. And the first man I want to introduce to you is Bill Hermann. If you don't know Bill Hermann, this is the man right here. He's actually on his phone. He's got more important things to do than interview. But Bill,
there's a Pikachu here.
Bill, we're on camera right here.
Sorry.
So, Bill, you are the man behind the entertainment experience. You are also behind a podcast or a show that we actually see here on DJ News TV, right?
Yes, creative license.
Creative license. And so the entertainment experience is all about putting an entertainment value into what you do. Now, what I think is we actually do more than just weddings, corporate events, bar mitzvahs. We create shows. We create experiences, right?
Well, as soon as you create anything in front of an audience, you have created a theatrical experience. It's a show. And being that we're in business, you're literally in show business as soon as we stand in front of anybody to do anything. And all of these entertainment experiences that you do create start with the idea that it's theatrically, it's created theatrically all by itself. At first step, you have all the things that happen in any kind of a stage show, any kind of a TV show, and any kind of a video. All of these things are there, and there are equations to how they work. And if you don't follow those equations, then you leave it up to the audience to say how they feel about it, as opposed to writing something that will impact them the way that you want them to. So that's really how I look at what I do. And honestly, I thought that's the way everybody did it, because I was teaching. I mean, I teach it now to DJs, but I mean, in the entertainment business, this is basic. In movies and television and plays and radio, you need to take people down that story-driven narrative, because we all think in that way. Since the caveman days, we didn't tell, we didn't just tell facts. There was a story around the fact about what happened, and then they drew it onto cave walls, and they created transitions and a story. Everything works that way. If we already think that way, then why wouldn't we use those tools to impact an audience in an emotional way, whether it be the laughter or tears or cheering or anger or whatever that is. And the people that master it are usually the masters of the business that they're in, whether it be selling shovels, being in politics, doing weddings.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the whole thing.
Let's talk about weddings really quickly, because let's peel back the onion for some people. I create a timeline, which could also serve as a script. What does your timeline work with, and do you script things like how I'm going to introduce people, little things I'm going to put, but sometimes it might just come out in the moment, but what does your timeline or your script look like?
Well, the timeline is the thing that starts the story. It storybooks how, well, like when you do a film, you've got the storyboards, you've got pictures of how it wants to go, and that is just an outline of how things are going to be. So, and when a story, into its very basic nature, is a beginning and a middle and an end, you start there like you're creating some sort of just that timeline, how it starts, and then what's going to happen in the middle of it, and how that thing's going to end, and how the next thing's going to start, and then you move those things around so that you have this arc throughout what's happening. So you start with the skeletal piece, and then from there are places where if you're a narrator, if you're an MC, that you have to be more specific. You need to be able to take them along that place so they know exactly what you want. So yeah, of course you need to sit down and script. And I do script quite a lot, especially when I want to create a specific narrative about how I'm going to make them feel. And the best way to do that, I found, is to tell a story. I mean, literally, tell a story. Think about when your parents used to tell you stories when you went to bed. It started out, ooh, I love this story, and I wonder what's going to happen. And oh, well, that was great. And the same kid, over the years, even as they become adult, they get to relive that experience because their brain thinks beginning, middle, and remember. That's why we can watch the same movie over and over and over and still be affected in the same way because of the way it's created and how that script is built. But that single basic piece of beginning, middle, and end. I'm about to say good evening and thanks for coming. It has to have a beginning and a middle and an end. People have to go, ooh, this is interesting. I like this guy and what he's saying, and now he's done. At some point, if I'm saying it, at the same time, if they reveal the room, there's a beginning of the curtain from the cocktails to the room opens up, and then lights come up, and they're like, wow, this is really great, and ooh, this is going to be really fun, and I love how they're doing this. And then you have to put an end to that experience of, isn't this great? Now we open to another curtain and now we're going to have introductions and create a middle and an ending, and then create a curtain opening to the dining. And the dining beginning has a beginning to it, and in the middle is how we're enjoying the meal and how we're enjoying it, and then afterwards, wasn't that great? And that's happening throughout weddings all the time, whether or not you decide or I decide to create that timeline or to create that narrative. It's happening in the brains of the people that are experiencing it because that's how they experience things. The problem with not doing it yourself is that because they're already doing it, they are writing it in their head. They're taking it to where they want it to go. And now you got a room full of people having their own story. There's no group mindset, and they get to say how it goes, as opposed to if you are the voice in their head as the vocal narrative, then you get to tell them what they're going to do, how they're going to feel, and then they do.
That's one thing I've learned from you. I took the entertainment experience, and sometimes we need to express what everybody is feeling. Right? And so I think we can do that in toast, we can do that at the introductions, but we want to be able to help give them the opportunity to laugh, sigh, cry, and we give them those opportunities, right?
Absolutely, you give them the opportunities, and you get to say. That's the power of the whole thing, is people want to have this experience. That's why your brain makes you have a beginning, middle, and end story. But because it's already happening, you know where it is. It's like knowing where the knob is on making them feel the way you say they should feel. And there's a powerful experience of doing it so that one person can have those feelings. That's a personal connection. Now, if you can have that same connection in a group mindset with 1,000 people, and it's like going to a movie theater and listening and feeling the entire room go, that just by itself gives you a more immersive experience, and now you've connected to all of these people, which makes this thing very, very. It's like a beautiful hug from everybody that you don't know, because for a moment when everybody gasps, you know the person across the room. We have the power. Storytellers know this. Movie producers and directors and people who write books, authors. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. All of these people in the entertainment business, they know this one basic fact. Yeah. And when you know it, now you have a chance to be able to but the knobs on the mixer, okay, to be able to get what you want them to experience. This takes practice. But mostly it takes focus around the basic idea that there's a beginning and a middle and an end. And now you want to start tweaking within the entertainment experience. We talk about how you get from one story to one story, from one act to another act, to a scene, from between scenes and transitions, and how you can take them on that journey throughout to show them one large 8-hour story with lots of little stories and acts and scenes in between. And they will stay with you because the brain wants that story to end. You know, you can't just say, let's begin, and then not take them to why and what we're doing. The brain wants that. They're waiting for you to tell them, what's next? You started the story, man. The little boy on the hill And that's all you said? What happens to him? Does he get happy? Does he win? At the end of it, does he get his little red truck? They're doing that the moment you say, and there's a boy on a hill. Okay. Because you said it to everyone, you're now their dad telling them a story when they were a kid. People don't grow beyond that. They just don't. And that's if they did, television would not be a big deal. No. Movies, nobody would care. Theater, books, radio, podcasts, this sort of thing, nobody would care because I already know. And story doesn't matter to me. But it's innately already attached to us. Once you know that, you have a choice to be able to tweak it and to take people where they're already asking to be taken. Or you have the choice of, it's okay. It's already happening. And a lot of people do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that this way, I believe, has way more power. Power for you as the person creating the experience for them. Make sense? Yeah.
Wow. That was a lot to take in, folks. But Bill, part of the entertainment experience, I want you to start shifting your mindset when it comes to your shows. Think of them as shows, and think of them as stories, as a narrative that you're going to take your guests, but also your audience on. Once again, this has been Stepping Up Your Game with Rob Ferre with Bill Hermann today here at Mobile Beat. See you next time.